up, Devy fanatics? My name is Kevin Coleman at boys_22 as always, and I'm here on the Devy Royale YouTube channel to break down another transfer player going to a new school and what we can expect for them. And this guy, me and him have a love-hate relationship, and is somebody that if you follow me at all on Twitter, if you follow the podcast, the show, we are vehemently against this guy in terms of just like, hey, he was getting overdrafted. Don't draft him. And we were right, and that's Kedon Slovis from USC, now Pittsburgh. He's going to Pittsburgh. People will know Pittsburgh, Kenny Pickett, obviously, Heisman finalist. But this is an entirely different offense, and we're going to see a new offense coordinator. So I don't think we can just jump into like, hey, he's going to throw the ball a ton and look at there. I think there's going to be more of a balanced attack, in my opinion. And I think with their running backs and with Jordan Addison and those people there, like he went to a really good spot. If we're going to be honest, he went to a good spot. I like him. I just want to say, like, if he's going to go anywhere to kind of imagine his image, it's Pittsburgh. Like, he picked a good spot, especially because he's going to start right away. I think that he's done a good job of like, hey, where should I go to kind of increase my stock? Now, let's talk about what happened last year. 2,000 yards, 11 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. He saw his completion percentage at 65%. He didn't play well enough to keep his job last year. He got injured. He was kind of in and out. USC was a dumpster fire, let's be honest. Clay Helton should never have been there last year. And he left. Obviously, Lincoln Riley taking over. Now, he lost his job to Jackson Dart, and I was on record saying Dart should start. He would start that and take his job last year just because I just think Slovis is kind of limited as a quarterback. Now, I'm going to show you guys let's talk about this real quick. What does he do well? I don't want to be all down on Slovis. Like, what does he do well? Well, he works through his progressions well. I've always said that about him. I think he has good pocket awareness. I've always said that about him too. And he's got in-pocket mobility. So he uses he's not a really, really, really athletic guy, but he has some functional athleticism in the pocket to move around a little bit, and he can extend plays. Now, he also keeps his eyes downfield. So one thing I do like about him, he doesn't look to run right away, and he always is looking to make a play. Now, that's negative too sometimes because he'll throw picks. And I think there's some good and bad with Slovis's ability to do that. Now, if we watch him from last year, I picked out some tape from that I liked about him. Now, here again, struggled with separation. This receivers did at times, and so he's going to get sacked. But he gets it out in space pretty well. You'll see it here, bouncing around, moving around. In my opinion, that's what he does best. So if we're going to watch this, I want you guys to take a look at this. This is the thing that Slovis does the best job of. He's going to read through his progressions. He's able to maneuver the pocket a little bit, steps up. He doesn't have happy feet, and he can get it out to his receivers. This is good Slovis. Slovis does this. Is an excellent quarterback in terms of like, hey, can he just produce? Can he get the ball where it needs to go? Yes, he can. And he's done a good job of finding his athletes. This is why Drake London has so many targets last year, because he targeted him every single time he freaking threw the ball. And I think that's the value there. Now, he kind of stared at his receiver there, but he knew the coverage, knew where he was going. You can't fault the guy for that. Again, he's going to do these things where he gets it out there. I wanted to include these things, these plays too, because you'll see that he gets bailed out by London a lot throughout his career. But that offense did not do him any favors. And so I will say that he was limited based on this offense. It was basically a one read, get it out. If it's not there, Slovis do something or throw it up to Drake. And really the rushing attacks, as much as I like Keontae Ingram, they didn't really do it with him. So there are some struggles there. I'll be honest, especially with that offense there. But he gets it out quick, gets it to his athletes. If he can do those types of things, look for Jordan Addison to have a hell of a year. You saw what Drake London was able to do. Jordan Addison is going to get targeted as well. I think that if you're in a draft and you're like, hey, should I worry about him in terms of like production because of Slovis? No, I think he's going to give him the ball because he's the best athlete on that team. Now, you'll see it here against Notre Dame. I wanted to highlight this. He does have some good throws. He misses this one. I wanted to show kind of some highlights in terms of where he can improve. But again, you'll see here, he's just getting pressured like hell because that offensive line was bad. And so I don't want to be a Debbie Downer about Slovis. I think now with his ADP, he's going to the 16th round. I've seen him go to the 16th round 4 times. So that's a pretty good barometer for where he is going at. If 16th round, if he is like your 4th or 5th quarterback and you're like, hey, or whatever, and you want a C2C guy that's going to put up some numbers, I don't hate that ADP, actually. I think 16th round is there. Considering he was going in the first round, a lot of Debbie drafts, 2 years ago, That's where it sucks because you lost your value. But in C2C, 16th round, some production in a Pitt offense that you're going to see a little bit of a different offense than what Pickett is, but he can still put up numbers. I don't hate that in C2C formats. That's a great thing about C2C. In Devy, he's not draftable. You better not draft him if he's in a Devy startup. But in C2C formats, I don't hate it in terms of production, in terms of value going right now. He has hit pretty much an all-time low because that's where his value is. And I don't mind the ADP. But Slovis went to an interesting spot. Again, be careful with overdrafting Slovis based on that offense. There's a lot of things going in there. I think they're going to be more of a run happy team. I think they're going to use their running backs in a lot of different ways. Israel Akambanda, I believe is how you say his last name. I love that kid. He's one of my sleepers for running backs. I think they need to use him more, and I think they will with the new offensive coordinator. So Slovis is going to be fine, but this is kind of the value where I put him right now. So I appreciate you guys tuning in today if you're watching this, and definitely hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, but also find our podcast. That's really what we value in terms of information. We're going to get you more information in that hour than we can in 5 minutes. But if you like what you hear, follow me at @theboys_22. Follow Jeff, follow Christian on Twitter. Find us there, and we will always answer your DMs about prospects. So we appreciate you guys.